Okay, so we're back up. Gonna go refill my beverage real quick and do a few other things, and in a minute or two we'll get started. It would probably also help if I chose the correct scene. Alright, so I'm gonna tweet out that we're starting here, and then we'll get started after that. Okie dokie. So, time to learn how to go fast at Grim Dawn. So there's a few different routes that are run now. I think I'm gonna start with the poison route just because that's kind of the more traditional route that more often run. Later on, if there's interest, I might go into like how the bleed route modifies things a little bit because it is quite a bit different. But for the most part, I think strategies and stuff are mainly the same. But yeah, so let's see, tutor. I guess we'll get started. So the rules for the speed run are that timing starts when you start moving here. So, get ready to go and then split here. And so one thing you'll notice pretty pretty prevalently in the speed run is there's a lot of rotating. So that's more important later, but just keep that in mind for now. Anyway, the first thing you want to do is come up here and grab this note through the wall. If your camera's rotated that way, you can just kind of grab that through the wall for whatever reason. And that gets you like 80% of the way to level 2. Which is pretty nice, because you used to have to fight a bunch of stuff to get to level 2, and now you just don't do any of that, and it's way more convenient. It doesn't save that much more time, but it's a lot more convenient. I'm just sort of grabbing stuff as I go. It doesn't really matter, but... So you come into this house, and there's a note here as well. Please. Okay, so yeah, that's blocked. So another thing that's pretty cool and good in this game is block paths. So a lot of times, there isn't really one way you can go through things, because the game's kind of a dick sometimes, and will just block you. You have to kind of improvise as you go. But anyway, so those 2 notes are enough to get you to level 2 without fighting anything. So then you go Spirit, you go Shaman, take 1 point, and then you get 2 points in the most busted skill in the entire game, at least for the speedrun, Devouring Swarm. It just annihilates everything. Other note there, you don't necessarily have to take that one, but I had to come that way anyway, so it's whatever. There's another part up here where, yeah, path RNG can be a thing, and we got the bad RNG, so I'll show you the other way around. Gotta go through all these buildings. Grab those notes, because again, why not? Put those points into Devouring Swarm, you'll be doing that for a while. Or Spirit. So if that path's blocked, what you want to do is you want to come up to this portal, activate it, and then come back down, because there's a guy over here you can talk to who, after the first quest, will give you a scrap, and scrap is really freaking important. See, emerald, you're going to want 3 emeralds by the time you get to the islands, whatever the hell it's called. There's a lot to explain in the beginning of this. But, so one of the key things here is just conversation know-how. So, to advance conversations, you have to hit basically the right option. And sometimes if you miss the right option, you will just go back to the beginning of the conversation and you'll waste a bunch of time and you'll look like an idiot. So just knowing where things are to click is really important. So here, it's nice because it's just always right here. So you just da-da-da-da-da, and you're done. They're not always like that. In fact, they're usually not like that. But yeah, anyway, so after you get that, if you had to come the long way around, you can just portal back to Lower Crossing. If this path wasn't blocked, and you could just come through here, you would be able to just come right up here, grab this guy, and then walk over. But since it was blocked, we're going to portal back. So the next thing we want to do is we want to come up this way, and we need to get all 4 of these crystals on the way to the cave. So as I'm doing this tutorial, I'm just going to assume that you've played the game before, so there's like a bunch of basic mechanic stuff I don't think I'm going to go over, but if anybody has questions about that sort of stuff, if they want to ask, that's fine. another level, more Devouring Swarm levels. You can do attribute points right now, and there's caster armor. I'll get into that in a second. But you can do attribute points right now. It takes a little while, so you just usually do a bunch of them at once. So let's see, we have 4 crystals now. Kill those guys, because why not? And then we'll come here. So here is the reanimator. So one nice thing you can do here is, since Devouring Swarm hits over time, you can just sort of hit him with Devouring Swarms and run around and loot while you're killing him. So we got really lucky on scrap there, that's nice. Some armor and stuff. Scrap RNG, also a very good part of this run. So typically, depending on the route you run, you need either 5 crystals or 7 crystals. So I think I'm going to show both routes, so I will grab 7 crystals. But yeah, once you get this devotion shrine, you go back to town. And so here's another conversation thing. It's 3 here, and then up. So, yeah, 3 and then up is what you want to do here. Because if you ask questions, then you got to do all this and, like, blah blah blah. And, yeah, it wastes a bunch of time. Then this guy is just like this. And then here's a good speed strat you can do. So 2 clicks here. And then right after the second click, open the map and portal back to the Devil's Crossing Rift Gate over here. And if you do that fast enough, that saves, I don't know, a few seconds over walking back. Then this guy is just a bunch of clicks. You don't have to take that quest, we never go that far. And so now you've got a bunch of points you can throw in this. Let's see. I think 15 is fine. I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've done the poison route, but I think you actually want 14. So you leave this at 14 even though you have more points, because you're saving all of those points for Nightblade when we get it. Spirit again. The goal with Spirit is we want to get it high enough to use this caster armor, so like 104. Caster armor is important because early on, energy use in this game is kind of an issue. So you need all the help with that you can get. Jewelry, caster armor, caster helms, it's all good. Now the dump. One of the crappiest RNG parts of the run. So here, we want at least 5 scrap by the time we leave the dump. If you don't get 5 scrap, typically it's basically a reset because it takes so long. Like, the other ways to get scrap are just so lengthy and time consuming that it's really not worth doing them. And so far we're getting about typical scrap luck. We do at least have 2 emeralds though, which is nice. Alright, there's one. And these scrap piles are the things that give scrap. Well, I mean, if you played the game, you should know that, but... So yeah, we only have 4 now, and we're done with the dump, so if I was, like, actually doing a record attempt, I would probably just reset here. But... I mean, there's backups you can do, so I'll show one of those later if I don't get another one. We come up here, kill those guys basically just because they get in the way. We don't need the necklaces or anything. I'm already level 7. That's but one thing you can do if you don't have enough scrap and you want to keep the run going is sometimes these guys will drop scrap, so if you rotate the camera like this and then kill them, you can see what they drop as you leave. If they drop a scrap, you can go back and get it, but they didn't because, you know, of course. And then there's also Milton Hart here, which if you still need scrap, you can kill this guy too. If you already have 6 scrap by the time you get here, you can just skip this guy, and it's really fast, but, you know, RNG. And then, depending on what route you were doing, I'm gonna go ahead and take the second crystal here. We'll get that. We'll use that later, maybe. And then this is also something that's kind of useful for the early levels. So this is the Enduring Bone. It's a caster offhand, which also kind of increases your mana regen rates. We'll grab that for later. And basically it's just running up here until we get to the Foggy Bank Rift Gate. Not a whole lot happening in this area. So here we go left, because we want to go into this cave and grab this shrine that's in here. Also, this guy has the weapon you're going to be using for basically the entire run, so you want to be sure to grab this. That's like a poison damage dagger. It's really useful. Going the wrong way. So anyway, you take this shrine, you kill these dudes. And then, so, there's a couple things you can do here. One thing I've been doing is I just quit out here, and then I come back to this cave and grab a second Slith Tongue. But you don't have to do this. I don't know if it's faster or not. It's just something I've been doing. But, I'll just run up here and grab that real quick. Oh yeah, and another thing too is once you get 14 points into this, you just don't spend any more points until you hit level 10. So now that we're level 8, we can equip all this junk that we got. We're basically done leveling up Spirit now. Unless we find caster gear that needs more. We grab this other Slith Tongue, and then we portal back to the Rift Gate, and if you weren't grabbing the second Slith Tongue, you would portal back here after you did the Shrine. But anyway, Shrine, we want to go blue, and we want to go Sailor's Guide, because we want this movement speed node eventually, so we'll be getting 4 Shrine. So now we're coming into the Foggy Bank to get our friend Luther. So there's 3 places he can spawn. If he's really nice, he can spawn here. Of course he didn't. He can also spawn up here in this corner, and I'm actually kind of glad he didn't, because now I can show you all 3 spots. So he can also spawn there, but if he's a jerk, like, you know, he is right now, he can spawn all the way over on this side. And up this little hill thing over here. And he'll be right here. So there's also a couple divergent routes here. There's a route that involves getting just basically as much money as you can early, so I'll show you here. So you have the option of either rescuing this guy or basically extorting him. If you extort him, you get 1500 gold or iron, which means you can basically just leave Act 1 now. Or another thing you can do is you can rescue him instead of extorting him. And then you get Devil's Crossing reputation, which you use to get an item a little bit later on. So I'll show that route because there's a little more to Act 1 in that route, but I'll explain when the routes kind of converge again. So he probably won't like this. I'm sure this is safe. So we didn't take his money. He's gonna be safe now. So in this route, so if you were doing the extortion route, now you would just go back to town immediately. You should have your scrap and money at this point, and you would just fix the bridge and go to Act 2 now. But in this route, it's a little bit more than that. So you come through here to the flooded crossing, flooded passage, whatever. And then again, not much to this. You just run to the end of the cave. There's a few blockages that can be kind of jerks here. So this path can be blocked, in which case you've got to run up, like, you have to kind of run up here and come over, like cross back over again. That one doesn't waste too much time. This one, on the other hand, if you get this one, it's kind of a bitch. Yeah, so this is open too, so now you could just go straight up, but I'll show you what happens if this is blocked, because this can be blocked. So if that happens, you come up here. Well, okay, I guess I can't show you because it's blocked, but yeah, you basically have to come up through here, and then you go like around and then back up again, and it's a lot of zigzagging, and it wastes a bunch of time, but luckily we didn't get that. You know, I've never looked at it before, but I guess you could just do this. That might be a little bit faster. Like, come through here and then come down and back up again. That would be probably a little bit preferable, and I don't think that would waste as much time. Yeah, another important thing to this is just kind of knowing the maps and where paths can diverge and where they are and things like that. So here, there's a shrine up here, but there's like 8 billion Slith in the way, so we want to kill a bunch of those because they're annoying. So yeah, in this route, you take this shrine, and then there's one more you take later. So there's that. We got the Marrow Band, which is really damn lucky. Yeah, gear is just kind of whatever you get. If you get good gear, if you're blessed with good gear, then you're gonna have a good run. Otherwise, you just kind of have to make do with what you have. Now we just hit this guy with flies and boogers until he dies. Not much happening here either. One thing though, this low of level, those lava boulders that he shoots will one-shot you, so don't get hit by those. That's the big thing to this fight. Don't get hit by those, and fine. So you can take a lot of this stuff to sell, but at this point in the game, it's not really worth it. I'm gonna take this just because it has bonus health, and always good. The greens are worth a little bit more, so those are a little bit more useful, I suppose. But like low-level yellows, it's just there's like nothing to do those. Worry about it. That devotion points. So they changed how the Burwich outskirts are laid out, which makes it a little bit easier for a speedrun, actually. So here's some free XP. Free XP there. Just grab that and read it. Not much, but you know, every little bit counts. So we want to come up here, break this wall, and run up north through here. Till we get to this cave right here. So this is basically where you need the 2 extra crystals for. So if you do the extort Luther route, you don't need those crystals. You can just leave basically. But if you do the save Luther route, you want those 2 crystals, and you want to come in here and grab the shrine. And there's a few crystals in here too, like if they're just like crystals cannot spawn sometimes, so if you just don't have enough by the time you get here, there's a few you can get in here. Also, this path is occasionally blocked, which is really bad because then you have to go like all the way like around here and up. It's a big pain in the ass. Usually there's about 8 billion guys that spawn here too. They just, oh, they're down here now, I guess. But yeah. So now we've done that, we've got all the shrines we need for the entire run. So now we've got 8% movement speed. We're going to be a lot faster. And we're almost done with Act 1. We're going to go up here and grab the cultist orders. That's for a couple of reasons. Number one, Dureni in the hideout's kind of a pain in the ass. Fighting him in town is a lot easier. And number two, it gives us more Devil's Crossing rep, which we will use to buy an item. So just ignore the portal fight, nobody cares, yeah, whatever. Bye. So just come in here, take this thing, grab the book, portal out immediately. We're done with Act 1. So now, we can talk to this guy, whatever. The XP, I guess. Talk to you too, I suppose. Thanks for the XP. So now, really important here.
What do you want?
Found a curious note. Your schemes are finished and your life forfeit. If you click explain yourself, like he has the option of giving you a key instead of you killing him, and that kind of fucks everything up. So you need to choose this option, and then you're finished, traitor, and then this fight will start. And the fight here isn't too bad. Like, he's got his stun jacks and everything, but he's a lot weaker if you fight him here, because he's not like ether enhanced or anything. So you just kite him around, kind of do all that, and then he dies, and you come down here and you explain all the commotion, and he gives you a bunch of money and Devil's Crossing rep and Bloodicathon, which we don't care about. And we're level 10 now too, so Nightblade is the second skill tree we use. You take 10 points in Nightblade, 1 point in Shadow Strike, 1 point in Pneumatic Burst, and 1 point in the Transmuter. And what the Transmuter does is it lets you dual wield, which apparently people didn't know that lets you dual wield, but yeah, this lets you dual wield, and it's a lot. And it also lowers the cooldown of this by 5 seconds, so it's really nice. So anyway, we take this second thing that we had, and we throw that on. And that's for a reason. I will explain that as we get to it. So now what we do, since we're friendly with Devil's Crossing, we come up here and we get... Well, actually, we're not going to do that yet. We need another scrap, so I'm going to buy a scrap real quick. Now we have 6 scrap, and unfortunately we can only afford one of these right now, but we'll come back. And I usually just bind that to like a button somewhere that I don't accidentally. So now we have Shadow Strike. We're going to be doing that a lot. That's the primary movement thing. So we repair the bridge, done with Act 1. So if we had extorted Luther, we would be here now, but we would be at like level 8 and we wouldn't have this item. So it's a little bit, like the Act 1 is a little bit faster, but Act 2 is a little bit more dangerous. So anyway, enduring bone is way important because of the movement speed provided by the pet. He gives movement speed? Alright, hang on, let me go back and see that.
Come see what's left of my wares.
Huh. Okay.
See you around.
So, I guess then what you would do is you would just kind of switch these around. So the reason I'm dual wielding right now, though, is the door boss. Because at level 10, this thing right here takes a good 15 seconds to kill if you're just sitting here, like, slicing at it. And if you did the Extort Luther route, this is what you would be doing. So yeah, that takes a while, but if you have two weapons equipped, you can just Shadow Strike it and it one-shots it. It's a lot easier. But anyway, so I'll equip this, the movement speed, I guess. Shadow striking, just kind of hitting stuff with Devouring Swarm as we go. And then here we go. So this is first option, like lower option, upper option to do the Isaiah quest. That one you kind of have to go slow because it's a little bit finicky. Yeah, I knew that. I just didn't know it gave movement speed. That's interesting. So we talk to this guy, and the middle option extorts him and you get some money, and he gets pissed off at you later and he charges extra money in Homestead, but whatever, I don't care, I want the money. So yeah, now is when rotating comes into play too, because Shadow Strike kind of just blinks you to whatever target you hit with it. So ideally you want to set this up so that you have the camera rotated so that basically any enemy you're going to be striking is always kind of at a diagonal. That will be the fastest way to go. And there we can get anybody, so that's cool. Oh, and I probably should have explained what I did here too. So down by... I'm completely disoriented. Okay, yeah, so down by the barricade, I put a rift gate there. So a little kind of trick here you can do after you grab the dynamite to save, I don't know, like 10 seconds or so probably. Gonna rotate this so we can kind of see where we're going. Also, for some reason, like, I have rotate bound the mouse wheel, and it can be really finicky about when it actually wants to do things. So, you know, if you're trying to rotate and it doesn't go, you can just sort of rotate the camera. So anyway, we grab the dynamite, and we just stand here, and we let these guys kill us. What that does is, our portal is now still out, but we respawn in Devil's Crossing. So now we can just take this into the portal and save the time we would need to walk back. But since we're here and I have money now, I'm just going to buy a couple more of those. And that's convenient because you're here, so, and you have money now, so we can do that. So anyway, we spawn here. Now we're right in front of the barricade. Boom, and we can go. So and then this is just kind of walking along, so more Shadow Striking and Devouring Swarming. Slightly faster to go this way. Golems are the devil, avoid them at all costs. Yeah, you can get a lot of XP off of those trash mobs as well, so that's something you want to keep in mind. here, kill those dudes. Alright, so now this is where I go back to the foothills and turn in the dynamite quest. This will give us some more money and a lot of XP and an inventory bag, which isn't like super useful, but it's convenient. So there's only one option you can choose there, and you don't have to turn this quest in, it's just a lot of money and it's really useful, I find, so I do it. So now I'm gonna max this out, and let's see, what else do I do? Yeah, so poison route, I haven't done poison route in a while, so I'm trying to remember what it is I actually do here. I think what I'm going to do is put a couple of points in pneumatic burst for a little bit more speed, and then I'm going to do masteries. Because the next thing we want is NJE way the hell over here, and that's going to be a while, so we're going to be doing a lot of masteries. Let's see. Points, you want to physique those. Because, yeah, when you're this under-leveled, health is kind of hard to come by. It's okay, we got a door boss coming up, so now I'm gonna put my second weapon on. And we'll just... Bam, it's dead. Don't have to worry about doing anything extra to it, it's just dead. That back on. And just running through here. This guy. And so this part, the bandit camp's very dangerous if you cannot one-shot doors, I've found. So having this second weapon or having some way you can kill those doors extremely quickly is very useful. 3 of those, so we come in here. That one. Use my camera reset button, sorry if that's making anybody dizzy. This bridge can be kind of finicky. It's a little bit easier if you rotate so it's like straight on, because if you hit this from the side, sometimes what'll happen is what happened to me a minute ago, you like get here and get stuck on the post and then you can't move. And if there's a billion guys over here like there was on the other side of that bridge, that's kind of bad news. So now we're in the hideout. So here, it's basically just kind of running to the end. Moneybags, the kind of mini-boss that's in here, can be a pain in the ass, and he's got 3 places he can spawn, and I'll point those out. The first place he can spawn is right here. This is the best possible place for him to spawn. You want him there all the time, he just very rarely spawns there. Also, I think I heard my guy, but... So here, yeah, when you're around this corner, if there's gunners here, you can shadow strike the gunner from like here and zip around, and it saves a little bit of time. Then here's the second place Moneybags can spawn, and he didn't spawn here, so we got the bad spawn, which is pretty great. Anyway, coming through here. So if you did the Extort Luther route, you would have to fight Dureni right here, and he's quite a bit tougher, but it's kind of the same strategies. You just Shadow Strike, Devouring Swarm, whatever, until he dies, and then this door opens, and you come through here. Usually there's a bunch of guys here you can Shadow Strike, but I got a little unlucky and they didn't spawn. I have to do this the long way. Then, yeah, so there's Moneybags. He's kind of a bitch here, honestly. Like, if you get really unlucky, he can follow you through this door, and that is just the worst. So now, over to boss. I'm gonna equip my second. Oh yeah, and he will just hang out here the entire fight. So, you know, be watchful of that too. So anyway, yeah, so Moneybags is down there. If he spawns here, you kind of want to stay up in this part of the map as much as you can, because as soon as Cronley dies, this door is going to open and he's going to come in here and he's going to be pissed off. So you kind of don't want that. Anyway, so I have 2 weapons equipped now, and that's so that I can hit Shadow Strike on this guy 2 times, which speeds this fight up a little bit. There's the most annoying thing ever. He has this Ether Shield move that I think it's 9 seconds long, and it has like a 32% cooldown, or 32-second cooldown, and it like multiplies his damage by like 40% or something, and it also reduces all of the damage he takes by 90%. And he will typically do that on cooldown unless you stay right next to him. If you stay right next to him, there's a chance you can get his AI in this loop where he'll just continually try to melee you and just forget that that skill exists. And it's a little bit quicker that way. But if you did the Extort Luther route, you would just basically be doing what I'm doing now, just kind of hitting him. Shadow striking when it's on cooldown, forgetting to use Pneumatic Burst, that sort of thing. You know, the usual. But, yeah, if you did the Save Luther route, you have the Tinctures, and you can use one of those here, and they do pretty significant poison damage, and they also aim impair, so they're really useful. It does cost a little bit of time to get them, but they're really useful. Like, if you're trying to... I would say, like, if you were doing a marathon run or something, you would want them. Just because it is a lot safer to get them. Then we Shadow Strike the wrong guy. But yeah, it drops Cronley pretty fast, too. Like, he's hurting. So now he did his enough of this die, which means he's about dead. So now I'm going to try to kite him up here so that Moneybags doesn't be an asshole. And usually he drops an MI ring, but I didn't get those, so... Let's see, embroidered hat. Doesn't look like he dropped anything useful, which is unfortunate. That filter so there isn't as much stuff in our... Hermit's leg guards are really good. That's a good one to get. Also, hi, my bags. Not supposed to... Oops! Okay, so I did the wrong thing there. What you're supposed to do there is destroy the crystal, but keep some of it for yourself. And what that does is it gives you an item called an ether crystal, which is really useful about, I don't know, hour from now, or about like half an hour from now. I didn't get it, but definitely want it, and I'll point out when you used it when we get there. Yeah, I kind of did an oopsie there, so I didn't grab it. Now I'll just do more masteries so that we can hopefully equip things. Nope, good. Alright. I'll put this back on, run out of here. You can Shadow Strike that guy from basically just beyond the boss arena, so that's also not... You gotta watch how you rotate here, because this part will overlap this part, and then your guy will be like, oh, you want me to run back up there? Okay, so he'll run back up there, and it takes a bunch of time. So, leave the hideout, split complete. So here comes another part where the paths diverge. So if you did the Extort Luther route, at this point you only have 2 shrines. I did the save route, so I have 4 shrines, but if you did that route, you want 4 shrines so you can get that move speed bonus. So what you would do is you would come around here and rotate the camera better than I am, so you get better shadow strikes. this way, round, and this shrine here, you would take this shrine. I'm not actually going to activate it because this fight's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's a bunch of skeletons, and if you kill them, then... Oh yeah, Ichor. So you definitely want Ichor for Poison Route. Alright, let me just stop to pause to explain things, I guess. So, yeah, so this shrine, it spawns a couple waves of skeletons. If you didn't get the shrines in Act 1, you would take this one. Did I get the waypoint here? No, I didn't. Alright, well, just walk back, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, if you came through this way, then you would go around through here and up through here and into the Undercity. But now I'll show you the other way. Since I forgot to take the waypoint, because you usually don't take the waypoint, but because it's a little bit up out of the way. But anyway, oh yeah, so one other thing I wanted to do is I want to put 1 point in Phantasmal Armor. That also helps a little bit with the energy problems. That gives you like a chance of energy leech retaliation, and it also gives you energy absorption. So that's kind of a new thing that I've been trying to work into the build, but I feel like it'll be useful, so I take it. So now we can equip this hat, which 193 health, yes please. Or spirit, so we can actually use it. And yeah, health on gear is pretty paramount. Like, you're really squishy at the end of this game, so any health you can get on your gear is a definite plus. So anyway, yeah, this waypoint. Okay, so I have to come back here. So yeah, Ichor is really good. It gives you a bunch of poison damage. If you find 3, it gives you another skill you can use, which is really good early. Not so much later on, but it's really good early. So if you have the 4 shrines, you can come this way and it's a little bit faster. Plus there's a bunch of wasps you can kill for pretty easy XP. You come up here. Come around this way. Up here. And then you're at the Undercity just already. So, oh good, I get to show this off. So sometimes this path will be blocked. And you might be like, oh no, the path is blocked, I can't get to the Undercity. No, not really. What you do is you come around here, and props to whoever told me about this. It was like somebody in one of my streams. But you come here, and you just get through the wall. So if that path is ever blocked, you can do that. And it looks cool as hell. So, alright, Undercity. So, this path forward is clean, which is nice. Usually it's not, and what you would do in that case is you would break this wall, and you would come down here and break this wall, and then that gets you here, which you would do if this was broken. But since that's broken, you don't really need to mess with that. So generally speaking, we just want to find our way left here. You want to go left and down to start, and then it's more upwards as you get further in. So, you know, I mean, paths can be randomly blocked, like this is blocked, otherwise you could go up that way. Rotation's really good here to speed things up. And that's the Undercity, so now we're in Broken Hills. I guess I'll just say a little bit about my control scheme too. So my skills are kind of bound to weird buttons, but then I have like rotates bound to my mouse wheel, and then I have one button bound to default camera position, and then another button bound to zoom out. So like if I'm rotating and I'm like all disoriented, it's like, oh god, where am I? I can hit the default button and then the max zoom out button just in really rapid succession, and it just resets the camera. So that's really convenient for me anyway. And you can also do that during area transitions too. I'll show that. So let's say, I'm going to rotate the camera some weird way, and we'll go to Devil's Crossing, and I just hit the buttons right before the loading screen came in, and everything's back to normal. So that's another thing you can do. So, same difference here, you're just kind of running around as quick as you can, getting to the next part, which is Smuggler's Pass. So, got the camera rotated so that I'm going directly into the corner here. Hopefully we'll find some guys. I just kind of like to do this to try to find dudes. And of course, there was nobody on that entire route, which is really weird. But yes, and then you can whoop, get in there. Like, those guys hurt pretty bad, but as long as you keep devouring Swarm out and hitting as many people as possible, you will, generally speaking, re-heal. And it won't be an issue. So here's the shrine here, where if you did the Extort Luther route, you would take this shrine and that would get you to 4. You need 3 emeralds for that, so you would be doing probably some shop farming trying to get one of these. Well, ideally you would just luck out and have 3 at this point, but if you didn't, that's what you would have to do. And, but if you have 4 shrines already and you have the emeralds, I would say go ahead and take them anyway for this node, because this gives you physical resist and a couple other resists, and it's pretty good. Or if you didn't want to do that, you could also take health, if your health is really low and you want health. I don't know which one is really better, but I mean, if you have the emerald, it's worth taking it. So here we are. Hi Elsa, bye Elsa. So now we're going up the direct route through this troll camp here. So you want to kind of rotate the camera to be as far as you can in. I didn't do it very well, but you can like kind of just dash to the end of that. It's not nearly as scary because that place can be really scary. Now again, it's just looking for guys to hit so we can move fast. So yeah, that thing, the Marrow Band I got's also pretty nice if you can get it. It spawns a second one of those Rift Town dudes, and that one lowers enemy damage. That's also quite useful. So, Smuggler's Pass. Now we want to go... Actually, I think I'm going to do first is I'm going to go back and buy more tinctures. I might also see if there's move speed boots anywhere.
Come see what's left.
Generally speaking, when you're in town, you want to be looking for... You don't want to spend a ton of time doing this, but if like they have move speed boots, it's definitely worth grabbing them. Grab that too. Health, why not?
See you around. Come see what's left of my wares.
Like the Smuggler's Pass. By the way, if anybody has questions while this is going on, just go ahead and ask, and I can stop and explain things if I'm not explaining very well. So generally speaking here, you kind of want to just go north as much as you can. And these guys are kind of scary. They do a lot of damage, and the gun guys have nets, and the shaman guys have this curse that slows you down by about 150%, or yeah, this one. But I have a lot of movement speed because my pet, so it's not slowing me down too much, but if you have no move speed bonus, that is a bitch. See, like right now, I am moving pretty slow. Anyway, more Nightblade Mastery. More Physique. Okay, now I'm going to equip the second weapon because there's a boss coming up. Oops. So this guy, like generally speaking, I try to kill all the dudes around him just because they annoy the hell out of me. But otherwise, this guy is pretty much just like Cronley was. Just use your just use your tincture if you have it. Shadow strike him. His attacks are all pretty slow and telegraphed, so you should never get hit by them. That one's a little bit faster than the others, but for the most part, like he hits hard, but his moves are all really telegraphed. So if you just kind of dash in and out, you shouldn't get hit that much like that. Like if you're good at games, you shouldn't get hit by that. Basically, I'm doing a really bad job of keeping pneumatic burst up. Is this the only competitive class combo? Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, there's a couple different trickster builds you can do, and I'll show the other one after this. But yeah, this is trickster is it basically.
I can't do that yet.
Yeah, generally speaking, so you want to keep. So generally you want to keep the Conjuring Bone around, and when you're not in boss fights, you're going to be using that. But when you get to boss fights, you're going to switch out to a second weapon. That'll speed things up quite a bit. 323 health. I'll take that, sure. Usually this guy drops a bunch of stuff that you can't use at your level, but it's really high level, so it sells for a lot. But unfortunately there, he didn't do that. Then you just get through there as quickly as you can, because those guys are mad scary. And here is just kind of, you know, shadow striking as far ahead as you can, getting the hell out of here as quickly as possible. You don't have to talk to this guy, you can just run past him. In fact, at least in older versions of the game, if you didn't do Act 1 and you tried to talk to him and you picked the wrong conversation option, you would just crash the game, so just don't talk to him. Mountain Deep. So this place is kind of scary. There's pretty narrow passages. Trogs are annoying as hell. Especially the mage trogs. Basically, the goal here is just get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. So this, you just kind of have to know how the map is laid out, because this place can be really tough otherwise. And see there, Devouring Swarm just kind of saved my ass. But I'll get through here first, and then I'll show the map, because this place is kind of dangerous if you stop. Usually there's a ton of guys here, too, so you just want to keep shadow striking. And shadow striking at the back of packs, too, by the way. If you shadow strike at the front of a pack or in the middle, especially in a hallway, what can happen is, like, you'll get stuck like this, and then you'll have, like, 80 guys surrounding you, and you can't move, and that's how deaths happen. So you always want to be trying to shadow strike at the back of a pack. I'll just clear these guys out and then I'll show you the map. Yeah, they have like Mark of the Wendigo or some bullshit and it's horrible. But yeah, so the map generally is kind of divided into like two parts. And you can see there's like a billion different paths here, and usually a lot of these will be blocked off. So you just kind of have to come up here and then get into this area like whatever way you can. And then coming over here, kind of the same thing. Like this can be blocked off sometimes and you'll have to come around here. But again, you just generally want to get to either this point or this point. And, you know, it's just kind of experience, like having knowledge of the map. It's just something that comes as you play the game more, I guess. So Prospector's Trail is next. which is the run up to Homestead. A lot of heroes and stuff, you can just ignore those idiots. And there'll usually be a pretty big pack here. You can just blink all the way around this corner and hit them. That saves a lot of time. I put down a safety portal here because the lead up to Homestead can be kind of dangerous sometimes. Like, this is one of the first places where there's like a legitimate chance you can die even if you're being careful. I mean, you shouldn't, but it's possible. It saves a little bit of time to just run through this creep. YOLO. Yeah, you just follow the path up here, and then you hit the signpost for Homestead. I'll put down another portal. We gotta... oh no, wait. Huh, he usually doesn't spawn outside. He usually spawns in here, but... so I'm gonna equip my second weapon. Just because now I want damage. You don't have to clear these guys out, but it makes this so much easier if you do. And this boss guy is kind of the same thing. He actually fights kind of similar to the troll boss from Smuggler's Pass. Like, he's got similar stuff, except his attacks aren't nearly as telegraphed. And if I have a tincture here, I like to use it against this guy because he can be kind of annoying.
That skill's not good.
But yeah, when you're in a boss fight, generally speaking, you kind of want to use pneumatic burst kind of sparingly when you need the healing. I'm gonna pick up all this stuff because it'll probably sell for quite a bit, and it's in my way. Alright, so he's dead. A silver band, huh? Nice. Alright, so then once he's done, we come into Homestead. I grab this book because it's worth decent XP and it gets in your way if you don't. And then I come up here, set a portal, go back to Dead Man's Gulch. Then we talk to this guy, bottom option for everything. You don't have to move the cursor, it's really easy. Then you walk back, and you go back to the portal you just set, which saves a little bit of time over walking back and forth each time. Talk to this dude. Then you come down here and you talk to this lady.
I'll skip the plus. The Legion is split on two.
You come over here and you talk to Isaiah, who's not real happy at us, but whatever. He'll live.
I'll see what's left of my wares.
I'm actually really good on health right now. Yeah, this is where you can start taking in JE, which is the, on Poison route, the big damage dealer. Actually, I'm going to go back to Devil's Crossing and respec out of those pneumatic burst points. Because in hindsight, I think I probably just should have done masteries for those instead.
Greetings, child.
And in actual run, you wouldn't be respecing, but I kind of screwed up a little bit. And while I'm here, I'll buy some more of these guys.
See anything you like? Iron well spent.
Now we're back into Homestead. we're gonna go fight Amalgamation. So you come into here, and then somewhere around like here, enemies are just gonna boop. Oh, they didn't pop in. Usually enemies just kind of pop in there, and it's hilarious. And you kind of want to keep your eyes open for these egg sacs as you're coming through here, because those egg sacs are worth a ridiculous amount of XP. But they're only in that one section, and they don't always spawn there, so if you can get them, take them, but don't go out of your way for them. Then we cut through here. Going the right way, just wanted to verify. Those guys get a little health back. Watch pathing bug out. Okay, so the path I take through here is pretty much the same every time. You come into this part here, come north into this little fenced off area, and then there's like a secret passageway here you can break. It's a big chest, why not? And then that takes you straight to the bug zone. But from the bug zone, you just get over here as quickly as you can. Get over here as quickly as you can, and Sacred Harvest. And then there's a note here I will grab. If this path is open, you can just Shadow Strike to it, and it's pretty nice. But it's worth, you know, some XP, so I take it. So on the way, you might as well. No reason not to, really. So then just up through here. Ideally you want to be 18 before this fight, but there we go, some more NJEs. So, Amalgamation fight. In my opinion, the deadliest thing about the Amalgamation fight, by far, is all these enemies in the room before you fight Amalgamation, actually. They are a total pain in the ass, and if you don't, like... Plus there's a hero here, that usually doesn't happen. That's some pretty great luck, actually. But yeah, this room's kind of a clusterfuck. Like, you don't have to stop and kill these guys, and it's a little bit faster if you don't, but good luck. So, Amalgamation. So he's got like 3 main attacks he does. He's got that slow melee thing. He's got these geysers that he didn't do. There he goes. Then he has shockwaves, these things. He does 5 of them, and he will do them regardless of what range you're at. But the thing is, he always does the same attacks in the same order. So he will, generally speaking, he'll do a melee, then the geysers, then the shockwaves. So when you see the geysers, back way the hell away from this dude, because pain is a-coming. Like, if he can't, yeah, so here come the shockwaves again. Like, on the 5th one, you can kind of dash through it if you're feeling especially lucky. Whoops. Yeah, those melee attacks hit you pretty hard, too, so you gotta watch out for those. Yeah, see, that's what happens if you're in close when he does the shockwaves. They just all hit you at the same time, and it's not fun. Anyway, that's the Amalgamation fight. So now we come to everybody's favorite RNG hell, the Blood Grove.
There was much I see your refuge. My scouts have reported.
So here's where you can pick a faction.
There are 2 setting their fanatic.
Oops. Don't do what I just did. Yeah, conversation selecting is a bit of an issue. So I usually take Kaiman's Chosen. It really doesn't matter. They both give you the same amount of XP. It's whatever. Just whoever you feel like fighting, pick them. Pick the other one, I guess. More NJE. More health, because you never have too much health. And, oh yeah, put this back on. Now it's time for the Blood Grove. But here, like most areas, it's just a matter of getting to the end as quickly as possible. So that's, you know, Shadow Striking, Pneumatic Bursting, whatever you got. My health is actually pretty good right now, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. So, Blood Grove. What can I say? So yeah, there's a lot of rooms and paths in the Blood Grove, and they're blocked off all the time, and you just kind of have to know where to go. But usually I start by coming up to the left here, and so you can see this path is blocked off, so we're gonna go up a little bit more. Generally speaking, what I try to do is, there's 3 cages in here, I will kind of try to go by all of them. But there's a cage on the left side, which I can't get to from there. Yeah, so there's a cage here. They're not here, so now we're going to come down, use this kind of shrine as a landmark to come through here. And then there's a second cage right here. They weren't there, but they're in the 3rd cage up here. We'll talk to them. Won't actually turn the quest in yet, because that's a little bit slow, but yeah, one thing I do want to point out, you see how this is blocked off? Sometimes they can be in this cage, and this will also be blocked off. I'll kind of go through this whole room so you can see what the layout is. But yeah, so they'll be in here, and literally the only way to get into this room is by coming in like this way. So if this is all blocked off, you've got to go all the way back around and come in here. So my suggestion is, as you're coming into this area, look at this cage first, because the way in the beginning you can get in there may be the only way you can get in there. And if it is, and you come back later and you try to get in there later, you're going to lose literally a minute, at least. So, Blood Grove is nasty, and if it decides it's going to screw you over, it's going to screw you over. So then, so once you get the prisoners, you go north until you find this this road here. And you got to be careful, because there's a few places where you can go north kind of on the left side that dead end. So you kind of want to jut up and right a little bit until you find this road, and then you can follow the road in. There's a lot of enemies here usually, and they blend in with the trees. It's annoying. So here's that rift gate. So now we come down one kind of thing here. So we come down past this thing up into this thing, because this can be blocked off sometimes. And we come up into this little narrow area with the ankle biters. If you don't have a lot of health, that little part can be dangerous, but it's not too bad usually. So then it's just kind of up and left until we get to Dark Vale. Like, you can go like around and up, but that way is a lot faster. If you just take that little passage up and then come up and to the left, it saves quite a bit of time over going around. And then Dark Vale's pretty self-explanatory. The place is just kind of laid out like a big S. You just go around. Again, not too much happening here, just getting to the end. A little bit under-leveled for some reason, but it's not too big of a deal. Like, generally I'm 20 by now. You Shadow Strike this guy, if you're lucky that curse will miss. And then you won't be doing this. So, Dark Veil Gate, like, they tease you with this path here, but it's always blocked. So, like, see there, it's blocked. Actually, I'm gonna try something. Come down here. Huh, I can't believe that worked. Alright, so that's, yeah, so if that path is open, that's super fast, actually. But normally what you have to do is, I'll show you what you have to do normally. Because normally this will be blocked right here, and you won't be able to get past this. So what happens in that case is you come into this door here, and you kind of just Shadow Strike your way around back to over this way generally. Kind of in through here. And then you would come down this stairway, and if you're lucky, then you could get in either through here, or if not in through there, in through here. But other times you do have to go kind of like all the way around. It's a bitch, but not usually. Let's come around this corner. Go up this way. And then again, this is another place where it kind of diverges based on what path you get. So there's two bridges here. Usually what will happen is they will loop you around to this first bridge. And if you have to take this first bridge, there's a bunch of like extra stuff you have to do over here. Like there's this big hallway. That room's always a dead end, don't go in there. Then you come up around, you kind of have to just watch the map here to see where the open paths are, and then come around and just get in through there. Shadow Strike helps there quite a bit. But if you get the second bridge, which is back here, you skip all that, you just come straight into here. It's just this bridge usually isn't open. Wow! Who had Doombolt? Okay, well if you're not stopping to explain things there, you'll be moving pretty quickly in through there, and that won't hit you. But yeah, Doombolt sucks, and we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, generally speaking, any place where there's like cultist guys, you want to keep moving because they can do stuff like that and it hurts. So, just, you know, getting back to where I was now. I guess I should be putting down portals just for speed of tutorial purposes. And now you can see this again, so, you know, totally intentional. So yeah, this room's always a dead end. Like, no matter what the layout is, that room's always a dead end. So you will always have to come through here, and then either... Yeah, so this will be open, and then when you get to this room, either this will be open or this will be open. But either way, you can just kind of blink right into here. Then we go before the Doombolt gets us, and we're in the second area. So here, again, it's just kind of a matter of getting to the end. So ideally, what you want to do is, the path that just... Hang on, we got the pathing glitch. Okay. Yeah, Borum lost a hardcore run to that one time. I felt so bad for him. But yeah, if you are shadow striking and there are obstacles in your way, sometimes that will happen and you cannot move for seconds at a time. It's the best. So good. So yeah, so if this path is open, you can literally just go straight around and it's super quick, but it's not open, so we're gonna come down through here. Or wait, no, it's this one that's super quick, I think, yeah. My mistake. So you will always have to come through here. I don't think this one's ever open, or if it is, it's open very rarely. You come down through here. If this door is open, you can literally just go straight in, but if it's not open, you have to come down here and loop around. It's a little bit slower, but with Shadow Strike, you can mitigate a lot of that. Bridge here, there's dudes on it, we'll rush them. And now we're at the Karos fight. So the Karos fight, two forms, both forms you have to do really differently. The first form, you want to stay a little bit away from him, but not too away from him, because he will Doom Bolt you if you get too close. So you just gotta manage his ads, you know, Shadow Strike, Pneumatic Burst for healing. You want to stay about this distance, I would say. Which can be a little bit dangerous, but if you get too far away from him, he curses you too. And then you take, like, billions of damage from everything. But, yeah. But if you get too far away from him, I'll get far away from him. Yeah, that happens. And it sucks. So, you know, there will be times you kind of have to run away, but you've got to be very careful when you're running away, because you may just be setting yourself up for a Doom Bolt, and then you're just dead. Like, especially when you're cursed. Like, it's a bad idea to run away when you're cursed. That's the first form. Second form's a lot easier. It's just kind of stick and move. Like, these are the only ads he gets for this entire phase, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, just stick and move. His melee hurts, but, like, that's all he's got. He's got that, and then he's got this thing, which if you just keep moving, like you should be anyway, it doesn't hit you. He's got those shards, which, again, if you're moving, they're not an issue. So this phase is a lot easier, generally. If you stay close to him for too long, though, he will start meleeing you, and he will do a lot of damage at that point, but you shouldn't be close to him that often. Like, just Shadow Strike him and get away. Shadow Strike him and get away. I just realized I don't have my second weapon on. That would have sped this up some. So the reason for two weapons on bosses is a couple things. Number one, it makes Shadow Strike hit twice, which is a very small amount of extra damage, but it is extra damage. And number two, it gives NJE 2 chances to activate. So if Shadow Strike misses, you don't get that poison damage. Poison damage is where the vast majority of our damage comes from there. So if you have two weapons equipped, you hit with Shadow Strike twice, so you get 2 chances to apply that. That's one of the big things for that. Also, don't forget the book, very important. I've done that I don't know how many times, and it's always sad. So just grab all this stuff, mainly just to sell, pretty much. Mark of Dreeg is also really nice. That gives you extra poison damage, and it lowers enemy resists. So that's really awesome. And now we're in Act 4, aka Crazy Shadow Strike City. So this is typically a long area where you gotta like walk through this great distance to get to Fort Icon, but there's a lot of places like here where you can just shadow strike and go light speed everywhere. So you just do that at the top of the stairs at one of these Yetis and it just brings you all the way down there, which saves, I don't even know how much time, but it's a lot. Now I'll go turn these quests in. Should get at least one level from this. Good. So what do we get? We got Acolyte's Cord. That's pretty good. It's all damage and stuff, so we'll take that. So here you will either get a ring or you will get a belt. Or like a jewelry piece or a belt, basically. +2 to shadows. Interesting. I won't hit level 27, but sure. Alright, so now that we have NJE maxed, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back into this. And then, so let's see, we got that up. So I think I'm just going to do Masteries now, actually. Like, this has a breakpoint at 6 and at 12. Like, at 6, you can see it doesn't give you another % speed at 7, so there's really no point in doing it past that, in my opinion.
You're here. Good. With the cultist
So now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back to Devil's Crossing real quick and buy some more of those tincture things. That should be the last time we got to do that.
Come see what's left of my wares.
Yeah, you can kind of look at this stuff, and anything that's like level 28 or above, you're never going to be able to use, so you might as well just sell it. Let's see, we can get a lot of these, actually. Nice. So yeah, that's pretty much all of those we will need until the end of the run, so... Yeah, sure, no problem. Have a good one. So, back to Act 4. So yeah, we bought 10 of those things, which should be all we need for the end of the game. There's situations where you can have to go back there, but I don't think we're going to have that. So this is another good spot to blink. If there are guys down here, you can stand here and shadow strike and you will just mirror. But since there aren't, we gotta walk down, which is unfortunate. I really wanted to show you that. So there's two ways you can go. You can go left or right here. Left is faster by quite a bit, so go left. These Yetis hit pretty hard, so, you know, try to get by them quickly. So we come left through here. Because if you try to follow the road the whole way, it's blocked up there, so we have to come down a little bit. Now we've got the Rift Gate in our sights, we can just walk to that. I should probably keep the Attic Burst on. Occasionally there's a guy right here too, where if you're perceptive enough and can see him, you can... But again, nobody. And then this is one of the more interesting ones. This you have to rotate the camera for. So you rotate it so that you're basically heading straight on, and then you can reach these guys. And that guy died mid-Shadow Strike, so I just stopped. But that, you can do that, and that skips forward a little bit. And then we want to hit the corners. And then we can rotate here and hit one of these Yetis, and that skips us forward a little bit as well. Just a lot of like optimized shadow striking in this area where you rotate the camera in specific ways to get a lot further forward. This is probably one of the most intricate ones. So here, you see these bores over here? So once you're off this bridge part, you notice how kind of the ground darkens up a little bit here. If you have the camera rotated so you can see one of these bores, and right as you come off of this, if you shadow strike, you'll go all the way around this loop and hit it. And that also saves a significant chunk of time. So now we want to come up a little bit, because there's a few things over here, but they're all dead ends, so you don't want to take those. And then got over to the left. Go up a little bit more. If you get really unlucky, Rage Blood can spawn here, and he's kind of a pain in the ass. So the strat for him is just run, basically. That brings us down to this. Some more dudes. Kind of go right as we come up here. And that brings us to the Fort Icon entrance. So whatever faction you picked, the other faction will be here trying to kill you. But that's good, because you can shadow strike them. Otherwise, this area is kind of a pain in the ass. So a few quick shadow strikes to get through that. You want to make sure Shadow Strike is up for this, because there can be a crowd of like a million ethereals right there that you want to get past. So this is the most dangerous part of the run by far coming up, because normally what you're supposed to do is there's a rift gate up here, and you're supposed to liberate it, and there's this really long fight, and it's like 3 waves, and it takes a couple of minutes, but you know, this is a speed run, we don't care. So we're just going to go around the trigger for that fight, and just come up here, just skipping it all together. And what that means is we can now no longer do rift gates anywhere until we get to Necropolis, because we're going to put this one here, and once we get to Necropolis, we're going to warp back to this. We're never going to use that rift gate that's downstairs.
Betrayal precisely.
I'll give you a good price on one of
So I'm going to buy some health potions, because I'm a giant peach. Another thing to look for from vendors is fur too, because fur will give you bonus hit points, and that's always useful.
See you around.
So this is another rotated shadow strike. You can hit this dummy if you rotate the camera around. So yeah, this part's really scary, because from here until Necropolis, like I said, no portals. So this, if you get overwhelmed, sucks to be you, basically. So yeah, you want to really kind of rotate, see what's ahead of you. You want to be thinking like 2 steps ahead always up here. Like this more than any other area, absolutely. You want to be kind of just keeping an eye out. So we come through here, there's the supplies down there. If you want to go for safety, you can take those supplies, but, like, I don't know. Like, the XP it gives isn't really that significant. So we're just going to devour and swarm the hell out of everybody. Come through here. As you can see, I'm getting blocked in the hallway. That's pretty common. So these hallways can be so packed that it's, like, impossible to get through them. It gets really bad sometimes. So the key to that, again, is just thinking ahead and you know, seeing where you're going to have trouble and shadow striking past it if at all possible. And now we're at the most annoying boss fight in the game. Yeah, Lucius fight. This guy hits like a truck, and he's got 1 billion hit points. You can use, so he's got 3 attacks. He's got, or no, I think he's got like 4 attacks actually. So he has those balls, he has the flamethrower thing, he has devastation, and he has these knives that shotgun. So the key to every single one of his attacks is stay the hell away from him. Like, you don't want to be anywhere near him when he does anything, because it will hurt really bad. Generally speaking, he does the shotgun after the flamethrower, so especially there. Okay, I'm lucky there. I only got hit by 1. If he hits you with a bunch of those balls at the same time, that can one-shot you. This can one-shot you if you're close. Those can't one-shot you, but they hurt pretty bad. My power's going out. That's good. Yeah, we've been having storms here, and in SoCal, the power stations are not designed for storms, so if power goes out, I apologize. But, I mean, you can see just how far I'm having to stay from this guy, because like, everything he does just hurts so much. And it gets even better when he gets on low health because he speeds up and he just starts using all of his attacks all the time. It's even more annoying than that. But you really can't do this fight fast, unfortunately. Because if you try to do this fight fast, he will just absolutely wreck you. Oh, I'm glad that missed. I think they gave that a longer wind-up, too, in a recent patch, because it used to be he would just start throwing that out and then, welp, hope you got away. But yeah, it's just kind of, you know, staying away, dashing in and out, managing your heals. Having the transmuter for, Pneumatic Burst helps here too, because it makes Pneumatic Burst have like a 3-second cooldown, so you can get a lot more healing in that way. Oops. Yeah, so yeah, this is the bad part of that skip. If you fail to skip, you have to just run all the way back in there, and you lose like a couple of minutes each time. Yeah, that fight can be pretty tough. I think I just died there because I'm trying to multitask right now. But like generally speaking, if you know his attacks and you do a good job of staying away from him, like it's not that bad, but it's still something that can absolutely do you in if you're not careful. But I mean, you see how many enemies are still here, even though I've already come through this area once. Like, the density in here is just unreal. So anyway, getting back to where we were, I think he was almost dead, so there shouldn't be much more to this. Yeah, he was almost dead. Alright, good. Then he almost kills me immediately again. I mean, you can see just how dangerous being close to this guy for any length of time is. Okay, so now he's dead. Again, don't forget the explosives. I lost a world record by 1 second because I forgot the explosives. Don't do that. this back on. Alright, now comes the scariest zone in the game, the Plains of Strife. Get these guys away from the damn barricade, because screw them. So blow this up, and now we fight the toughest enemy in the game, landmines. Landmines are the MVP of the year all years. Like, if they hit you, like, normally is when you come through here, you're leveled enough and you have enough fire resistant health, where if a landmine hits you, it's not the end of the world. But we're so underleveled that if a landmine even, like, looks at us wrong, we are gonna hurt real bad. And remember way back in Cronley's hideout when I said I fucked up and didn't get the Aether Crystal. So this is where you would use the Aether Crystal. So there's a lot of times where there's a narrow path and there's the only way to get through it is like a billion landmines. You could just use that Aether Crystal because it gives you 90% damage absorption for like 5 seconds and just base tank your way through a big thing of landmines. But since we don't have that, I have to just kind of rely upon Shadow Striking past them if I can. Now Shadow Strike is kind of funny. Like, you're not targetable, but things can still hit you. So, like, you will explode mines if you Shadow Strike directly over them, but the thing is, it takes them a second or so to do damage, so usually by the time you're past them, the damage will have already subsided. Or the damage won't have started yet, I mean. And here is another place where you want to use rotation because you want to get into here as quickly as you can because you saw that density. They will absolutely murder you a million times. So now we're done with that. Now we can turn this quest in. I'll put some more mastery points in. This. Now we can use these because they're awesome.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
And yeah, we'll just get some more health potion, I guess.
Put it to good use.
And as far as the path through there goes, like, generally speaking, what you want to do is kind of follow the road, but as you can see, like, there's a couple places where the road gets broken off, so there you're going to have to kind of veer off to the sides a little bit. But, you know, you want to veer off to the sides as little as possible. And again, sometimes, like, this part in particular, like, there will just be, like, 100 billion landmines just, like, right in here. And so you either have to, like, have an enemy out here that you can Shadow Strike to get over, or you just need the Aether Crystal and just walk through it and hope nothing happens. And this up here is Flesh Hulk Hell. Like, you want to get through here pretty quick. And then this part here is where all that density was, so if you rotate, like, you'll get it to, it's like this now, but you can get it to like this, so you can come in at a diagonal and get way far in initially, and that's a big help. Yeah, I figure I'll explain this zone now, since I don't really have much of an opportunity to explain it as I'm going through it. Yeah, that's how that zone works, and then you can just use the portal that you already set, go back to Necropolis, and now we're at Necropolis, the last area of the game, which isn't nearly as annoying, honestly. So now we're going to head right. Generally speaking, we're going to go right and up. So kind of northeast through the whole thing. That path was blocked, so we're going to have to come up here. But, you know, there isn't really one true way to get up here. It just kind of depends on what paths are open. So, you know, just anything that generally speaking takes you right and up is good. Like, there isn't really one correct path. Am I gonna do a real speedrun after this? Probably not today, actually. I don't know, it's, I've got some other stuff I need to do, but I might. Then there's Smith dudes. We're just gonna go past him, hit these guys. Come up this way. Down here, more guys. Right up there. Sometimes this gate is closed and it's really annoying because then you have to basically just come around this way. Like you have to come this way and then go up here. But if that gate's open, you can just come over here and go straight up and it's a little bit faster. So there's a bunch of ethereals up here you need to watch out for because they can catch you off guard if you're not expecting them. And there's more up here usually. And I put a safety portal here because this fight can be kind of dangerous if you're not careful. This portal fight's unskippable, unfortunately. You need to do this to activate the story trigger to finish the game. I'm actually going to put my second weapon on for this.
That skill's not ready.
But yeah, this is 3 waves. Usually the 3rd wave has a hero. The hero kind of varies. Sometimes you get a meteor guy and he's annoying as hell. Other times you get somebody with like a defensive aura and it's not too bad. Like here we got the meteor hero. Charndaroth. I remember that because it starts char and fire is charred. So yeah, there you go. That's my mnemonic device. Enjoy. Those guys explode into a cloud of like revenge bullshit when they die, so try not to get hit by that.
It appears that the ritual.
So here, if I needed health, I would take some more health, but since I don't, I'm going to go into Merciless Repertoire, and that's going to give us quite a bit more extra damage for this next part coming up. So now we're breaking the Blood Wagon. So the thing you want to do for that is you want to come down here, and there's a couple spawns for each Blood Wagon. So this one can either be down this road here to the right, or it can spawn up here. And as you're coming down this road, you will see this star here if it's up here. So if you see that, you're going to want to turn around and come this way and go break it. Otherwise, you're going to want to keep going down that road. This Blood Wagon has just an obscene amount of health for some reason, so you gotta kind of sit and blink at it for a while. So once that's broken, you want to immediately teleport back here, because there's nothing more over there. The other 2 Blood Wagons are over here. So now we go this way, and we got the good spawn on the first one, so that one's right there. So that's one of the 2 places this one can spawn. We'll hit that. And if you get these big guys around you, sometimes you can like manipulate them into hitting the wagon too, and it speeds it up a little bit, which is nice. So that one's done. Since that was the spawn, we're gonna come across this thing here. And we got the good 3rd spawn too. So this is one of the places this one can spawn. So just same thing here. Yeah, you see how that guy just hit that? So, okay, so once you do that, then you're going to portal back, because now the seal is open. But before I do that, I'm going to go show you where the other spawns are for those 2 Blood Wagons. So if it's not here, what you're going to have to do is you come down this way, and you come down through here, and if there's enemies down here, and there usually will be if the Blood Wagon's there, because the Blood Wagon will be like right there, you can just Shadow Strike from here down to them. But, yeah, so this is where the second Blood Wagon would be if you got the bad spawn. And then from there, you don't want to take that path that we were just on. You would come up here to see if you got the good 3rd spawn, because it's right up here is where it is. And if you don't see the stars, you go up there, then you come down here under this little underpass thing. If I don't die. Okay, or if I do. But anyway, it's just right past that underpass. That's what I'm getting at. So, you know, we came around here, we went through there, we went up there. It wasn't here, so we came back down this way, and then we go under this underpass, and right here basically is where it is. There's another one of these kind of square grayish things right here, and that's where the blood wagon would be if it's not here. So, last area, the seal. This place, yeah, a lot of enemies, a lot of health, a lot of damage. Can be scary. Here, especially, is where you need to make sure that you're always, like, shadow striking at the back of mob packs, because, these guys, yeah, they will mess you up if you get trapped. As Borum here will tell you. I got a pathing bug earlier too, by the way. I got stuck in the Dark Veil gate for like 15 seconds. So I got to show that off. That was nice. But yeah, Borum had a run on world record pace. Got to the second floor of this area, and then had one of those pathing bugs happen, and they killed him. Alright. I'm gonna clear these guys out just so I can show you what I did. Like, you would not normally, yeah, you would not normally stop to clear these guys out, but I'm just gonna do it so that I can show you what path I've taken. This is a fake secret wall, by the way. It leads literally nowhere. Yeah, as you can see, I've got, like, what I consider for this area a pretty decent chunk of health, and stuff is still hitting me really hard. Oh, there's a chest back here. Okay, that's not always there. But you don't need treasure at this point anyway. But yeah, so you come in, you come down around this thing. You come out through here. You come into this room. And from here, let me go back into that room so I can get the map shown for it. So, for whatever reason, everything is open right now, but a lot of times this stuff will all be closed. So sometimes you'll have to come up through here, go down and around. Other times you can do what I did. Yeah, I would like to get some co-op action going eventually. That'd be fun. But anyway, so you go down and around, you come up through here. Sometimes there's a mid-boss here, there he is. He kind of hurts, we ignore him. And then we go around this way. If that door is miraculously open, you can go through there and it saves a little bit of time, but normally you have to come this way. Yeah, we actually did do a simultaneous speedrun. It was just sort of unintentional. But yeah, so I got the lucky way here. That path is usually not open, so I think what I'll do is I'll clear these guys out again and I'll show you the other path. Yep. Oh good, Doom Bolts. Nice. Excellent. I usually don't stick around regular cultists long enough to see Doom Bolts, so that's interesting. Okay. So, yeah, this path here is usually closed. So what you usually have to do is come down this way, and then go either around or down here. So, yeah, I'll show this way first, I guess. So going this way, I go this way so you don't have to go back around. Plus, if you luck out, you can just go up the side and you don't have to worry about, and we can't, so that's unfortunate. So yeah, if you get really lucky, like this side path will just be all open and you'll be able to just cut straight in here and not have to worry about those billion enemies. But, and then, so the way that was open, that usually not open, we'll go back that way. So that way spits you out here, basically. So then, same thing, it's just instead of up the right, you go up the left. And if all goes well, this is all open. You can just go straight through. Unfortunately, it's not up here. And you can tell it's not open because you'll get these, like, 2 lions. If you don't see the 2 lions, it's probably open. So that brings you into the second floor. Put a portal down there in case bad things happen, because they sometimes do. So this floor is basically like a giant backwards question mark. So that was the base of the question mark. If you get lucky, you can come up this way. And it looks like we did get lucky, so we can do that.
I sense a soul in search
Hey,
of
thanks for the
answers.
follow. But yeah, if that doesn't happen, sometimes you have to come all the way around here like I'm doing now, and it's horrible. But, you know, that's how Grim Dawn treats you sometimes. Okay, well, if they're gonna leave me alone... Nope, just kidding. Alright, normally I wouldn't hit 26, but since I did, I'll just take some more damage. Okay, so the map. So yeah, ideally you can go the way I was able to go, where you literally just go straight up and then in. But sometimes this is closed off, or this is closed off, so you have to either come around and go a little bit around. You have to go what I call either the long way, which is like this, or the really long way, which is like this, which absolutely sucks, but it happened. It's a fun way to lose time right at the end of the run if they decide, nope, you're going to go all the way around. But yeah, so then the paths converge here. Generally speaking, here what you want to do is you want to head kind of like up and to the left here. There's like a bridge here that you go across that takes you to like the last part. Let's not die, that would be bad. And then there's a couple ways you can go from here as well. So I think this is a valid way. If you come in through here, you can just go straight up and around, and this is a little bit faster to take you to the end. Yeah, so we're at the end already. Otherwise, you can go like around and back this way a little bit. I'll see if the map's open so I can show that. It's a little bit longer, a little bit riskier, but that pathway that I went through isn't always open. So yeah, you would just come around and in, basically. So then there's these a-holes, so usually I try to clear a bunch of these out because, again, like the amalgamation fight, if you've got a billion of these guys trying to kill you while you're fighting while you're fighting Bloodlord, it's awful. So anyway, Bloodlord is arguably the hardest fight in the game. Just because he's an annoying son of a bitch. But, I mean, the strategy is basically the same, he just hits like a truck again. but he's a lot faster and a little bit more unpredictable than Lucius is. And occasionally you'll see him get like these, yeah, those like wavy purple lightningy lines around him. If you see that, it means he's gonna throw that. There's a chance he's gonna throw that chaos ball attack out. And that thing, if you get point blanked by that, it will shotgun you and you will hurt very badly. By that I mean you're 99% sure you're dead. Other than that, this fight's pretty straightforward. Just look out for his ads. Like, they'll explode if they take too much damage. Fun fact, if you have like a whole ton of energy leech and you get those harbingers down to 0 energy, they can't explode when they die. So if you're doing like a casual playthrough and you're getting sick of those guys, that's something you can do. So he's dead, now we're going into the final boss, and again, just, this fight really doesn't get hard until the second phase. You're gonna get doom bolted there, you can't avoid it, have fun. But yeah, like, just this guy on his own is just a total pushover. Like, it's not until he gets ads that this gets bad. I have that right now, actually, and it has helped quite a bit. Like, I haven't really had any energy issues. Yeah, this is where the fight gets hard, because now you're dealing with these two guys, and the tentacles, and that dude, and Logo's still going to be doom bolting you, and it's bad. Manageable, but bad. So generally speaking, what you want to do is kind of kite these dudes around, and when Shadow Strike comes off cooldown, you want to Shadow Strike Logorian, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know what syllable to put the accent on. Third phase isn't quite as bad, like, it's just the heroes in the second phase that are pretty eh. Oh, cool. Yeah, just, you know, potions, if you get hurt, you don't want to stay next to him for very long, because he has a melee attack that does like 4 hits, and they all do a zillion damage each. But, I mean, you know, just once you get the heroes out of the way, this fight's pretty easy. Like, this fight's kind of an afterthought, really. And then he's done, time. That's basically it. Time stops there, runs over, we did it. So that's Grim Dawn. Yeah, just quit out here. Get back in and we can talk about some like variations on the route, I guess. So various like variations on the route, like you can like there's other things you can do besides this skill setup. Like you don't have to dual wield if you don't want to. It just, I find it's a lot better on bosses. But you know, you can, like, I took all these points and put them into this, but you can max out Devouring Swarm if you want. You can put points into Veil of Shadow if you want, and Night's Chill for the resist debuff. If you're doing hardcore, what you probably want to do is put 15 into Shaman and just kind of ignore most of the stuff at the tail end of this and just get Heart of Oak or Heart of the Wild, because you need a lot of that health, because, you know, hardcore. That's mostly a hardcore veteran strat, though. For hardcore normal, you can probably get away with largely what I did, except instead of Merciless Repertoire, I would probably just keep doing mastery points. I'm trying to think if there's any other like major variations on the route. I think that's about it. We talked about the shrines earlier, about how there's like the save versus extort Luther route. So now what I think I'll do is I'll show the beginning of the bleed route. That's pretty different. And I'll do the extort route for bleed so you can see what that looks like. Same here. You don't have to put the potions on these buttons, by the way. I just do it out of habit. It doesn't waste any time because you're just running up here anyway. So there's note through the wall. Like, the beginning of this run is exactly the same. It doesn't diverge until you get to Luther. Well, plus here you would only ever want to get one. You would only ever want to get one Slith Tongue. Like, there's no reason you would get a second Slith Tongue because you only ever use one weapon. Just Devouring Swarm again. Has some pretty smooth menuing, go me. Alright, well that's not out there. Oh, so yeah, one thing I do for this route is, instead of the Slith Tongue, actually, I come over here and I take Ullman's Axe. Which gives bonus cold damage, which... I mean, you don't really need the poison for... Oh, that's lucky. You don't really need the poison for this skill route, so I just take that. So that's blocked, so now basically what we're going to do is... I'm just going to walk through here, it's a little bit quicker. So this is what the other Lost Survivor looks like. You just come up here, you just hit him when you come up, and then you walk over. All in the same position. Is there a scrap pile there? No. Sometimes there's a scrap pile there. If you get it, it's worth like looking at. Same with behind the Harbor Masters building. There's sometimes a scrap pile there, and that's also worth looking at. Because pretty much any place you can get scrap in this run, just at all, is something you need to be doing. There is. It's just Benevald sells it. So, it's the Bone Scythe. But, you know. Benevald's kind of not a thing you do in a speedrun, unfortunately. I think the Trogs use it. Yeah, it's way along the way. Like, pretty much, yeah, it's like the only weapon that boosts bleed. If you get lucky, you can get it from a Trog in Mountain Deeps, but you gotta get pretty lucky. And it doesn't really matter that much, I don't feel like. But, I mean, you know, I'm not saying too much about the route here, because it's exactly the same until we get to Luther, like I said. Wow, the double... What is this luck? Holy crap. Need any of this? Now we come back here. 3 clicks and then up. 1 click here. 2 clicks here, open the map screen. And then just here click until he gives you the quest and then ignore him. I don't know how many clicks that is, but you don't really ever have to move, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, we want to get to about 110-ish spirit so that we can use basic caster armor, and then we're pretty much done. So I think here I can go to 15, but I don't remember, so I'll leave it at 14 just in case. There's the mandatory Ichor for a bleed run. You don't use Ichor in bleed runs, so that's always when you will get it, always. So I have 5 scrap already, so I'm gonna come over here and see if there's one here. If there is, great. If there's not, I will just kill Milton. Alright. So if you get 6 scrap in here, you can just skip Milton, and that saves a little bit more time, but we didn't get that, unfortunately. Here's fur. It's nice. It gives you health. It's very useful. Serrated Spike, also useful for the bleed build, because it boosts piercing damage, and the knives do have a piercing component to them. So it's better than nothing. Since there's no component that just boosts bleed, you might as well just use that. No random scrap. Oh well. So we'll have to kill Milton, unfortunately. It's not too tough, though. Take his amulet, 'cause why not? So we're not actually doing the quest to kill Harmon's guys, but I still want this Bowen, because it's pretty good. And unlike the poison route, I will never be switching that out. I will always use that once I can. So yeah, if you can find an offhand before you can use that one, you might as well take it. But as soon as you get to level 8, you're just going to ditch it. So I'm coming over here this time just to grab the shrine. Like, I don't really care about the Slith Tongue at all. I'm still gonna grab this treasure chest though, because it's a nice treasure chest. And we will need emeralds this time. Once that's done, you portal out. So now we're gonna go look for Luther again, but this time we're gonna treat him a little bit differently. He can spawn on this side of the map, I swear. So yeah, we got the bad luck again. Hip hip hooray for me. So yeah, now we're gonna... You have a few coins, right? Yeah, I'll take you back if you pay me, and then just take his money. I should probably not be doing this here, but whatever. So now we go back, and we've already got the 3,000 and the 6 scraps, so now we can just leave, basically. I'm gonna grab this thing, though. That gives you a little bit more health, because you're pretty underleveled at this point, if you'll notice.
See what's left of my wares.
So now we have 6 scrap, 3,000 gold. We're not doing anything else in Act 1, so we're just getting out of here. Same devotions as before. Act complete. So now you'll get to see how much of a joy the door boss is with one weapon at level 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hits. 12 hits to break that. And the best part about that is, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the health bar for a door extends past the end of the screen. So you see how like enemies normally have like a health bar, right? So the door's health bar doesn't actually start, like it has more health than it shows. So it doesn't actually start ticking down until you get it to about 2/3 health left. So awful. So anyway, money's even tighter on this route, so we're gonna extort Luther again. Or not Luther, Isaiah. We extorted Luther too, but... he's not gonna like it, but whatever. He doesn't have to like it. So now we're also going to do the Death Warp, but the Death Warp is, yeah, I just do movement speed devotion on everything now. Like, I don't think Rat's really worth it, like, the more I've tested it. But with this build in particular, you absolutely want the movement speed devotion. So yeah, normally you will not be level 10 by the time you get to this point on bleed routes. So this Death Warp coming up here can be a little bit dicey. Because if you'll notice, I have 368 health right now. So Balthazar can one-shot me if I'm like really not lucky. I kind of don't want that to happen until I'm ready for that to happen. Yeah, I like Lion too. I do. Lion's pretty good for hardcore, I think. So anyway, so now we're gonna do Nightblade. 10 points, 1 point Shadow Strike, 1 point Phantasmal Blades, and you don't do Pneumatic Burst for this at all, actually. I guess I could have done 15 Devouring Swarm. Oh well. So then, middle button to Shadow Strike, this to Phantasmal Blades. Now we need to start shop farming, so I need movement speed boots, and I need emeralds. So there's our movement speed boots. Since we don't have pneumatic burst for speed, we need those. And then emeralds will eventually need 3 of those. So this, same as before. So now we only have 1 weapon, so our Shadow Strikes aren't going to do as much damage. Also Golem, steer clear of those bad boys. So our Shadow Strikes aren't going to do as much damage, so they won't one-shot the doors in the Bandit camp. Really hoping I'd hit 11 there. Oh well. So Borm, did you know that the Conjuring Bone gives you total speed? I didn't know that, and Griboro came in and was like, why are you dual wielding? You should be using Conjuring Bone for the movement speed. I was like, what? And I looked at it and I was like, oh. So yeah, so we'll put those points into blades. More physique. Health is always good. Go back, turn in this dude. If we're lucky, he'll have an emerald for us. And he did. Nice. Just gonna try to round out my armor here. Because you really don't want to have a slot not armored. Alright, so we have our emerald. That'll be important later. So, like I said, so we only have one weapon, so we're not going to be able to one-shot a door with Shadow Strike. So, what we do is we Shadow Strike Blades, and that breaks it. It's a little bit slower, but not by much. So the key there is just being able to get through quickly. It's total speed. It's the pet's passive ability, or it's the pet's ability when he's summoned. It's that roar thing. It gives like 8% total speed. When I get out of this bandit camp, I'll show you. Sometimes you can also get a charge hero there who is way too persistent. Like, he likes his job way too much. Yeah, so, let me just pull that up here. So yeah, the Frenzied Roar, 300 health restored, plus 20% all damage, 8% total speed. I didn't know that. I learned something new today. Wow. That was... Okay, well, we got the good money bags. There's money bags. That's where you want them to spawn. Shadow Strike is really dangerous with this build because, if you've noticed, we're a little squishy. Alright, cool, man. Have a good one. So we're going to put these points in blades as well, because we want to get to 8 points in blades, because as you can see, at the 8th point we get a 4th projectile, which doesn't sound like much, but it's pretty big. That gives us 1 extra chance to apply bleed, plus the blades themselves do quite a bit of damage. So Doreni, we actually have to fight him this time. He's immune to cold. I don't know if anybody knew that, but it's annoying. So this is the main strategy for him, just Devouring Swarm him to get his bleed resist down, then blade him, and then Shadow Strike him, and he goes down pretty fast. Like, the resist reduction from Devouring Swarm is pretty potent here. It is a little mana intensive, though, so you gotta be on the lookout for that. If I'd have thought about it, I'd have taken a point in Phantasmal Armor, but because that would have helped quite a bit. Coming down here. So the run up to Cronley is the same. Like, that doesn't change. Except now we don't have money bags on our nuts. You can bleed crystals, don't worry about it. So yeah, same thing here, but instead of tinctures, now we have these blades we can just toss at him. They do pretty good damage. So one thing I haven't mentioned is Devouring Swarm lasts for I think like 5 seconds, and it costs quite a bit of energy to use. So what you want to do is, if you're hitting it against a single target, you want to count off 5 ticks before you reapply it, and that way you'll get like the maximum duration out of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reapply it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, unfortunately with this build you kind of have to stay a little bit further away from him, so he's a lot more likely to shield, but I mean it's not too bad. You'll notice I haven't been shadow striking at all because, I don't know, just you really don't want to get close to anything. That's generally speaking a bad idea. Hey, move speed boots with stuff. Nice. Can you use those? Hell yeah. Nice. Alright, so here... So what you're supposed to do here is destroy the laboratory and keep some of the crystal for yourself, and that gives you this ether crystal. Is oh, they lowered it to 75, but yeah, it's 75% damage reduction for 8 seconds. Pretty good. You definitely want that. These books are here, might as well take them. These are not to. 1 point Phantasmal Armor, 1 point in that for the 4 blades, and then more Master. Yeah, sure, why not? So I'm not gonna do the whole run. I'll get to Smuggler's Pass, and then I'll just kind of show you where the skill points go, because the rest of the run after that is pretty much the same, just with different skills. So here, since we extorted Luther, we're going this way to get that shrine I was talking about earlier. Oh, and eventually you do want to max out Devouring Swarm for this build, too. I didn't do that, but just because I wasn't thinking about it. This fight's a real pain in the ass. Especially when you get a bonus hero like I did. Like, it's entirely possible for this run to end here. You just get bad heroes and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, you see how much of a pain in the ass that was. Scepter of Blood, huh? I think I actually will take that. Yeah, and anything with bleeding damage is absolutely something you want, too. Oh yeah, sometimes you can get trolled there. Good. So finish off Devouring Swarm, go back to Masteries. thing. This shrine here is the 4th shrine for this route, so this is where you get the move speed bonus, and you can start going fast again.
Can't do that yet.
Charge up through there. Okay, so then, like, as far as travel and everything goes, it's all pretty much the same as the poison route, but from there, what you want to do is you want to get to this level of mastery, and then you want to get Heartseeker to about level 6, I think. And then you go to Mastery 20, and then you get Anatomy of Murder, and you get that up to, I think, basically as high as you can get it. And then if you get that all the way maxed, then you come back to Heartseeker. So one of the things about this build is that you don't get a lot of mastery points, so you don't really have that much in the way of health. If health does get to be an issue, what you can do is, instead of taking points in Anatomy of Murder, you can put those in more masteries if you need to. And usually you will need to, just because it's hard to get that much health on your gear. But yeah, that's basically the skill route for this. And then, like I said, it just kind of same as poison route. You don't take pneumatic burst at all typically with this route. I mean, I guess if you had really good health and really good damage, you could maybe take it, but it's not that important. But yeah, that's basically bleed route. Yeah, that was really all I had. That's the tutorial for Grim Dawn speedruns. I feel my voice about to go out, so if anybody's got any questions, I'll answer those. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna go rest my throat a little bit. I'll wait a few seconds on the Twitch delay here, just in case. Thanks, man. I try to be helpful anyway. Hopefully that was pretty informative. And I'll put this up on YouTube at some point as well. I'll probably just export it when I get off of here, honestly. So it'll be there as well. Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Oh, damn. Well, I'll put it up on the YouTube in a few hours. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for coming by, guys, and I'll see you next time. Haters.